The pass from Havili was magic. The shift on for Crotty. Boom, far down you go, Quackett Smith. Me, oh my, I have enjoyed that. Yes, boy.
Sit back, relax, put your belt on, and enjoy the show.
Welcome to the Draft Rugby Show, where we discuss the game they play online in heaven. Still haven't edited Nick McArdle's far better version of the intro than us, so you're stuck with me for now. I'm joined by Cargie tonight. How you going, Crags?
Pretty good, mate. And looking forward to that Nick McArdle intro. We need a new one, and even I'll concede it's better than my intro. So there you go.
Absolutely. And can you explain why it's just you and I and Nelson's not here? Or we'll leave that out? It is draft night. It is semi-final draft night.
Look, I'm sure we'll hear enough about it on next week's pod. So
If others can connect the dots, then that's on them. All right. So we're a little bit late in the week, so we're not going to spend time doing the review. I feel like come Thursday night, no one really cares anymore. In summary, I think the Australian sides are amazing, but we'll kick on. That's all I remember. Yep. Let's go over to the first game of this week, straight into the main course. So I'll just give you the team list there, Craigs. Can you see that one?
I can see that. That looks beautiful.
Game one, you've got the Hurricanes versus the Reds. So this one's over in Wellington, and it's going to be the Reds' only opportunity to be the outright winners of the Super Rugby AU table in what is obviously the most important trophy that every team's aiming for. The Hurricanes, of course, now out of the running to make finals, given they had one loss, and that is a death sentence for any New Zealand team in this competition. Let's go through the lineups, Craig. So why don't you take us through the tight five, mate? I feel like that's definitely your forte.
That's true. The most important men on the field. And the most important battle on the field, it might not actually be for the game, but for mine, it's what I'm looking forward to the most. They're not even actually lining up head-to-head in positions, but Harry, you're probably guessing they are both in the front row, one from either team. I want to see Taniela Tupou and Asafa Aumua go head-to-head, mate. What happens when a unstoppable force meets an immovable object? I want to find out. So
fantasy points for everyone, I believe.
Yeah. Fantasy points and some new casualty ward entries. So I'm very much looking forward to that. But no, we've got the Hurricanes got Numia, Aumua, and Lomax. Dane Cole's coming off the bench. They just thought, look, if the Reds are going to run out Tupou, we're running out Aumua. Colesy, sit down, mate. You're an old man. And Numia, he has been absolutely awesome for the Hurricanes as well. So he's been pretty good. And then we've got Blake's favourite prop, Tyrell Lomax, the weatherman. So the only bloke ever who picks him. Shout out to Blake.
So that's put him firmly in last place for the rest of the season. So.
Correct. So how the mighty have fallen. But yeah, and then the Reds rolling out the huge. We've got Fotuaika, BPA, and Tupou, so that'll be good. And then, look, the locks, Salakai Loto is really the only lock that excites me in any which way here. But Blackwell, Scrafton have been pretty good operators in the line out. Blythe is back for the Reds. The back row, it's really Harry Wilson up against Artie Sevilla. That will be a big matchup as well. Look, Wright and Karifi, both good. Karifi, we know is really, it's just, will he get a yellow or a red card is really the question. As we say every week. What did he get? Last week he got a yellow. I think it could have gone for a red though.
Just a yellow, but let's be honest, it's when they lost the game, isn't it?
It's true. It's true. That's the battle of the front row. It'll be interesting to see how they play it. I think the Hurricanes will go for some line-out drives. But, to be honest, the aim should just be to get the ball in Asafa Auma's hands. So whether that's a line-out drive, a move off the line-out, who really cares? But should be good.
I'm with you. The guy averages like 45 points off the bench. He's an absolute freak of nature. He's just bound to score at least one runaway try, not to mention the fact that the Reds still have no idea how to stop a rolling maul. So I'm sure he's in for a big, big week.
You guys are betting. You're a betting man. I'd love to see what the odds are of Aumua to score a try during the game. They have to be pretty low.
It will be very low. They're always far lower than what you would expect for it to be worthwhile. To be honest with you, it's pretty disappointing. You'd be paying $1.80 or something. It's not fair. $2.20 maybe. But look, you talked about the front row. How about the young bucks on the bench as well? You got Fidau and Nongor. So there's a couple more to come off the bench just to add some spice late in the game. I hope we see a bit more of Nongor. I feel like he's had a bit of a quiet year now.
Well, mate, he's behind basically the best prop of the world. So it's always going to be a tough ask. But, who better to learn from, though? Who better to practice against every week during scrumming it down? So he's going to be good. I think he's, we hyped him up and he just hasn't had a chance yet. But yeah, he'd be starting a lot of other front rows already. And he's just a very young bloke at the moment. So we'll be
Make a
good.
good point. He's probably not going to come on. So it's actually Fidel versus Taniela Tupou again. Look, on the bench, you've got Ryan Smith there, who's obviously been one of the preferred second rowers for the Reds as well. So no doubt he'll come in and provide a little bit of impetus as well. You got Fraser McWright back in off the bench after being rested last week. So I think that's a big in for them to add a little bit more excitement late in the game. Still no Siru Iru. That disappoints me. I want to see more from him. But
I feel like you put all the vowels in all the wrong places just then. I'm not sure what happened there. There is a lot of vowels in his name, but you struggled there.
it must be the mic. I think it's just the mic.
Okay, all right, yeah, sure.
And Devon Flanders as well. You're talking about excitement. He is a weapon.
I'm sorry, I just can't let you keep going, mate. Devon Flanders, mate. It's Devon Flanders, mate. Okay, it's like the lunch meat, bro. Okay, even he'll pull you up on that one. Right?
I'm only used to saying his last name, to be fair.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. So, I mean, the big play here is just like, where is the dominance? I feel like the Reds front row should be pretty dominant in this set piece. I'm not sure that I've got that much confidence yet in Lomax and Nemea, especially when you got the solid meat of Lukan Salakaia-Loto in the second row helping out a little bit of weight as well. So it's just a big tight five from them. And Futuoka weighs 230 kilos. So there's no way he's taking a backward step in a scrum. Line out wise, though, I'm not sure that the Reds have got quite the same reliability. I think Blackwell and Scrafton are both good operators. It's probably quite a technical second row from the Hurricanes, which is probably the least that thing that we'd ever see, at the start of the season when we're talking about Isaiah Walker-Leawere being one of their big ins as well. So not quite the same players there.
It's interesting you say it as well, because I agree with you, but on paper, I mean, the Reds look like they've got the goods in the line-out with Blythe, Salakaia-Loto, Harry Wilson, and Wright. They're all very good jumpers, but just Blackwell and Scrafton, particularly Scrafton, have been so good in the line-out. So that'll be a good battle. But mate, why don't you take us through the smaller men out the back?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So obviously the young 10s for the Hurricanes, Roygaard and Love, they had their first game back together again last week and it didn't quite go their way. I don't think they really found a way to unlock their attack. But to be fair, I don't think that was really on them. I think that was more the Brumbies defence, which put a lot of pressure on them and forced the mistakes. You're obviously going to see Barrett slot in at first receiver a lot as well. Versing Tate McDermott and Bryce Hegarty. James O'Connor hasn't recovered. Apparently he's been getting stingers in his shoulder for the last 4 or 5 weeks. So they've decided to give him some extra rest in the lead up to the French series, given that he's almost guaranteed to be the most important man steering the back line around for the Wallabies. So
rather pivotal.
Fair enough to me. Hegarty's been good off the bench as well. So to be fair, I don't think he's a huge loss because I think he plays a similar kind of game and has the ability to run as well. So very excited to see him. And from there, you go a step further out. You got Isaac Henry, who's been phenomenal in his couple of games so far. Hunter Paisami, who we can't sing his praises enough, up against the meat of Laumape, the minibus, who is quite clearly the most devastating runner on the field, and Billy Proctor, who I think had a quiet game last week. I thought he just started to look the goods, and just as we started to get excited about him, he disappeared again.
The brother of the best centre in the world, we always have to mention.
Did we get this far without saying that?
Yeah, that's true. It's true. I don't know. Yeah, look, I'm excited about them as well. It'd be interesting. What do we call? What are we going to call Paisami if he's going up against the minibus and the bus this week? If he lays some hits on, I mean, do we start calling him the Mack truck, or I mean, I don't know. Like, we've got to come up with some.
I was going to say the steam train, but I like the Mack truck. I like
the Mack truck. Yeah. Well, look, steam train's done, mate. That was TK right there. The choo-choo, exactly. But no, I think it's gonna be a good battle. Laumape, like, I mean, he went in the first round of our fantasy picks at the start of this year, and obviously we love Laumape, but yeah, I just haven't seen him deliver this year. He just hasn't. I don't know. A, got the opportunities, and B, as we've talked about a lot, they've changed the way they use him. So we all assumed, because of their massive lack of a fly half, that the easiest solution would be just to give him the ball and let him run at the 12 channel all day. But no, instead what they've done is they've tried to use him much more as a second playmaker and a distributor. And to be honest, I haven't liked it. I have not liked it for fantasy. Just give him the ball, let him get ahead of steam up and see what happens. But I think Proctor's been pretty good as well.
I love that we say that he just hasn't been the same player, but he's still the 14th overall on averages. So it just shows how good he is. But I do agree with you. I like seeing him wanting to run over people. Not only is he so solid, but now we've seen his pace. He's a nightmare to tackle, that's for sure. But looking forward to Paisami trying to put a shot on. And geez, wouldn't that be a highlight?
Yeah, Isaac Henry will definitely be doing a bit of yours, just like a bit of
yeah. Hamish Stewart, mate. Sorry, Bryce Hegarty, you're the experienced man. You're going to make the hit.
Yeah, that's it.
In the back three, you got Wes Huijsen coming in for Rayasi. You got the bus Sevilla and ever reliable Geordie Barrett at fullback.
Oh, ever reliable except for last week, missing 2 kicks to win the game against the Brumbies. So
just not doing a review here, mate.
Yeah, sorry, okay, all right.
Jordan
he must still be heading for
the pod, yeah, and said don't talk about that. In the Reds, a young outside three. You got Dungunu, you got Josh Fluke back from concussion. I think he came back onto the bench late last week, but he's been struggling a little bit with that. So good to see him get some game time, but absolutely a small winger. And then Mac Greeley gets a second run as well. I thought he had some good touches as well last week. So it's a young, exciting team versus the experience of the Hurricanes.
Yeah, I feel like there was a bit of a premonition, a bit of foreshadowing. Just a few weeks ago, we were talking about how the Reds have been developing such depth, and it's actually really exciting to see them so good now and having some selection headaches, but also the depth for the future. And I was saying we haven't even seen Matt Greeley or the Creighton brothers feature yet. And boom, lo and behold, we've got not only Matt Greeley starting last week and this week at fullback, the very exciting young fullback, but we've also got Hudson Creighton's on the bench for his possible debut this week. One of the 2 Creighton brothers who both are kind of centres, utility outside backs. Again, exciting young players. So, yeah, interesting, but definitely, I mean, it's a challenge, isn't it? Going up against the Bus and Geordie Barrett, players these guys would have grown up frothing over. It's huge.
I can confirm as well, just looking at Ultimate Rugby on Hudson Creighton, he is young. They say he's 0 years old.
That's it. He's that fresh. He hasn't even been. He was entered into Ultimate Rugby this week, probably. So
that's right. Look, the other one for me is obviously you got Rayasi and Umaga Jensen on the bench. That's a lot of firepower coming off, and then you've got Moses Sorovi as the last man in the back line for the Reds, because the Liasi Vunivalu has cooked his hamstring and he's gone for the French series as well. So obviously a lot more serious. And I think Harry Wilson, will be buying him beers for a long time to come, considering it was his horrendous kick grubber through that caused Vunivalu to stretch out and tear his hammy.
That's it. And I'm personally devastated by this. The greatest player in Australia, Suliasi Vunivalu, unavailable. But
mate, I think we all are. What do you reckon? What's your tip here, Craigs?
Tip here, I think the Hurricanes are going to win this game. And I'm going to say probably are we just doing margins or are we doing score? We're just doing margins, aren't we?
Margin,
yeah, I'll probably say the Hurricanes will win by about 15 points.
Ooh. Yeah, it is a young Reds team, but I was pretty pleasantly surprised with how they played last week. And there's a lot of continuity this week. I reckon they'll do a little better than that. I reckon 9 points.
I think for mine, it was just you nailed it there with the firepower of the bench with Umaga Jensen and Rayasi coming on against Hudson Creighton and Moses Sorobi as a winger. So that speaks volumes for mine.
It is scary.